History is full of strange wars. Countries have fought over hats, buckets, even pigs, but none are as peculiar as Australia's Great Emu War of 1932. Just imagine, soldiers with Lewis guns facing off against emus. Yes, emus. Those big, flightless birds that look like they're always up to mischief. These birds were causing havoc in Western Australia, and the government decided to take drastic action. Picture this, it's 1932. The world is in turmoil and Australia is no exception. The Great Depression has hit hard, leaving many people struggling to survive. Australia is in the grip of the Great Depression. Cities are filled with people out of work, and the countryside is no better. Farmers are facing one of the toughest times in their lives. Farmers are struggling to make ends meet. The land is dry, the crops are failing, and the future looks bleak. Every day is a battle for survival. And then, to make matters worse, 20,000 emus decide to migrate inland. These large, flightless birds are on the move, searching for food and water. Now, emus are big birds. They are not just any ordinary birds, they are formidable creatures. They can grow up to 6 feet tall and weigh over 100 pounds. Imagine a bird that size wandering into your farm. They're also very good at eating crops. Their beaks are sharp, and they can strip a field in no time. The emus descended upon the farmers' fields, gobbling up everything in sight. For the already struggling farmers, this was a disaster of epic proportions. The farmers were desperate. Their faces told a story of hardship and struggle, etched with worry and despair. The once fertile fields now lay barren, a stark reminder of their plight. Their crops were being destroyed, not by drought or disease, but by an unexpected enemy. The emus, large flightless birds, had descended upon their lands, ravaging the fields and leaving destruction in their wake. The farmers were losing their livelihoods. With each passing day, their financial burdens grew heavier. They watched helplessly as their hard work was undone, their dreams of a bountiful harvest shattered. They appealed to the government for help. Gathering together, they voiced their concerns, hoping for a solution. They handed over petitions, detailing the devastation and pleading for intervention. And the government, believe it or not, decided to declare war on the emus. It was an unprecedented move, one that would go down in history. The officials, after much deliberation, announced their plan to tackle the emu invasion head-on. The Minister of Defense, Sir George Pearce, listened to the farmers' pleas. He understood the gravity of the situation and knew that immediate action was necessary. The farmers' voices had been heard. He agreed to send in the army, armed with Lewis machine guns, to combat the emu menace. The war was on. Soldiers prepared for battle, ready to defend the farmers' livelihoods against the unexpected avian threat. Section 4. Lewis guns versus feathered foes. The soldiers set out to confront the enemy, but they quickly discovered that fighting emus was no easy task. Emus are surprisingly fast and agile. They can run up to 30 miles per hour. The soldiers opened fire, but the emus scattered. They were incredibly difficult to hit. The machine guns, designed for warfare, proved largely ineffective against the feathered foes. Section 5. Victory for the emus. The Great Emu War lasted for several weeks. It was a bizarre conflict that took place in Australia in 1932. The government had declared war on the emus, large, flightless birds that were causing havoc on farmlands. Farmers were desperate as their crops were being destroyed by these relentless creatures. The soldiers fought bravely, but they were no match for the emus. Despite their best efforts, the emus proved to be incredibly resilient. They were fast, agile, and seemed almost impervious to bullets. The soldiers' machine guns jammed frequently, and the emus would scatter and regroup, making it nearly impossible to take them down. The government eventually called off the war, admitting defeat. The emus had won. It was an embarrassing moment for the military, but a triumphant one for the emus. The decision to withdraw was made after it became clear that the emus were not only surviving but thriving despite the military's efforts. They continued to roam free, feasting on the farmers' crops. The emus had become a symbol of resilience and determination. Farmers had to find new ways to protect their crops, as the emus showed no signs of leaving. They adapted to the presence of these birds, who had now become a part of their daily lives. The Great Emu War became a legendary tale, a reminder that even the most well-equipped army can be defeated by a determined enemy. It was a story passed down through generations, often told around campfires and in history books. the emu's victory was celebrated as a unique chapter in Australia's history, especially if that enemy is a large, flightless bird. The emu's triumph over the military forces remains a fascinating and humorous anecdote, illustrating that sometimes, nature can outwit even the most advanced human strategies.